This thing. I think I can be heard without the help of. Oh, there it goes. Good. Good morning. Welcome to the worship service of the First Unitarian Church of Hobart. My name is Steve. We are a religious community of people with diverse beliefs and shared values. Our diverse beliefs are expressed in our 6 sources, and our shared values are expressed in our 7 principles. Both can be found online at uua.org, period. Together we strive to grow spiritually, build community, and live our values in the world. Now I'm supposed to ask for announcements.
Yes, I'll do one. First week, rummage sale, next Sunday, a week from today, is when we bring everything we have downstairs we're sewing. And I have to say it's quite a bit. We generally do a fireman's drill type of thing where you go up the ladder, everybody's just passing the stuff up. And getting it up here, and then once it's up here, it gets either out the door sold or out the door to another giving family. So, everyone and anyone that can help next week after coffee hour, that'd be appreciated. All you need to do is bring it upstairs, and during the week, anybody wants to come in during the week and put price tags up and pre-buy and do all that other stuff. I do IOUs. To the end of the sale. So please, anyone that can help, we appreciate your help. Thank you.
And the rummage sale is 26th and 27th, right?
Yes.
We want all the stuff you can't stand.
Yeah, but make sure that someone has like that.
Okay. No one else? Okay. When Pastor Tom is not in the pulpit, we invite a guest or a member of our congregation to speak. Today we have Craig. And Jess. Okay. We are currently streaming our services online. The joys and sorrows portion of our service, however, is private, and we will take a break from streaming during that portion of the service. Other than that, the service will be recorded and will be available for future viewing on Facebook, YouTube, and the church website. Please let your Facebook and Twitter friends know you are attending worship with hashtag First Unitarian Hobart. Now please silence your devices and take a deep breath. And another, and join us in a spirit of reverence.
the joy of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning in the celebration of a life we share together.
Our opening reading is Gathering in Our Own Spaces by Jeff May. Come, gather, not into a common space, sharing a physical closeness we long for, precluded by wise choice, but come, gather into this common time and a common space. We need to be together. We yearn for connection. We hunger for the familiar faces of friends, the sound of shared voices proclaiming who we are, where we are going, that which resonates with our hopes, dreams, and values. Come, gather. We are here in this space made of all spaces, and we share our becoming in this moment.
And now please rise by your spirit for our opening hymn, number 1008 in our Hillesland. When our heart is one voice. 1008.
Standing for the affirmation of faith. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament. Service is its prayer. And this is our covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Now, doxology. Seated. It is time for our recovenanting. To worship is to pay utmost attention to that which is most needs paying attention to. So when we gather each Sunday, we strive to bring that level of care and attention to our being together. The faithful promises that we make to each other and to which we agree to hold accountable. So in that spirit, may we lean into the productive discomfort that makes possible all learning and growth and community. As we review 3 lines of our behavioral covenant, I invite you to respond to each with what's in your order of service. Oh, and that's on the screen too. For all the ways that we have neglected to consider our thoughts before speaking, for all the ways that we have neglected to speak directly to those concerned with an issue, for all the ways that we have not been appropriately supportive of others without taking sides, and now, greet your neighbor, smile, wave. Okay. Well, I'll speak loud, okay? Okay. This congregation expresses our deepest sorrows and greatest joys in community. We believe that a sorrow shared is diminished. A joy shared is magnified. We pause, listening to what arises in our hearts. If anybody would like to share today, I will come to you without a microphone and stand and loudly say your name and share your joys, sorrows. Anybody?
The Circles All Around Us by Brad Montague. We begin by drawing a circle on the ground along each shoe. A safe little place for just one person. Nobody in this circle but you. You could keep that circle closed to everyone but yourself, but that would be like a library with just one book on the shelf. So let's draw a bigger circle for you and your family to share. Now you see what all can happen in a circle full of care. It becomes a happier circle as more loved ones come to stay. And wouldn't it be even better if all your friends could come and play? So you stretch and draw your circle even bigger than it's been, and let a few more people know they're welcome to come in. In the circles all around us, everywhere that we all go, there's a difference we can make and a love we can all show. Yet, there are still so many outside the circle who are different in all they do, though it feels slightly uncomfortable. We draw a bigger circle for them too. It doesn't mean the circle is easy. It can get harder the more we share. But wonderful things can happen when love is known and felt everywhere. As time passes, our eyes open, we see others we really care for. And that's when we ask ourselves, well, what's this circle really there for? So let us create bigger circles all around us for the rest of our days. Let our caring ripple out in a million little ways. In the circles all around us, everywhere that we all go, there is a difference we can make and a love we can all show. As our circles grow and grow, and we watch them wonder-eyed, remember the first circle started with just the love you hold inside.
And now please rise and find your scripture for middle hymn number 126. I'm breaking middle, request. 126.
Come Today we want to give you a window into Sunday Spirit Circle. For those of you who are new to our church or haven't been to Sunday Spirit Circle, or if you used to go, but you haven't been in the last 6 months, we want to fill you in on what we've been up to. I'm Jess, Greenfield, Hillesland. I recently joined the church after it welcomed me so warmly this past fall. It's hard not to fall in love with this beautiful 150-year-old structure. I experienced so much warmth of spirit from people coming to church, members and non-members alike. I started my discussions outside of service by staying for Pastor Tom's discussions that followed his sermon services that asked how the service spoke to our own spiritual journey. One of those Sundays, as we were leaving the discussion, Cindy Hazeman invited me to join the pre-service Spirit Journey discussion, Spirit Circle. Somehow I had it in my head I wouldn't belong there, the way I think a lot of us do about places we've never been and we don't know much about. I'm the kind of person that needs to be invited. Just ask me, and I'll likely say yes. But if you don't ask, it's not going to happen. Cindy asked, and she's figured me out. She invites me to many things now. Thank you, Cindy. My life is richer for having you and Pete in it. Even better, as an early riser, I'm always looking for reasons to get out of the house earlier than 11 a.m., so I love the fact that it starts at 10, so it gets me here in the building earlier. If you've taken a yoga class with an instructor that offers an opening or a closing reading, you might have a snippet of what it feels like to participate in Spirit Circle. In that yoga class, if you get, for me, that's a joy. There's a reading that's often meant as an offering of intention for the energy of the yoga practice, or in the closing, the intention for the day ahead. Initially, I found the introduction to Spirit Circle like my treasured yoga classes that included an inspired quote of thoughtful reading to ponder in the silence of my practice. In Spirit Circle, there are purposeful pauses for reflection following the topics that are usually expounded on with quotes or short readings. The facilitation of the circle is being shared among the group members, so the format varies slightly depending on the group and the facilitator. Let me give you an idea of how it would go. The facilitator would start by saying something like, "Welcome to Spirit Circle, a safe space to share personal stories, personal experiences, personal understandings. A safe place to be heard, to be listened to be vulnerable, to pause in reflection, to relate to each other, and to grow and to bond in community. To quote from our great UU hymn, when our heart is in a holy place, when we trust the wisdom in each of us, and we see our faces in each other's eyes, and we hear our voices in each other's words, and we feel the power of each other's face, then our heart is in a holy place. Let us commit this morning to making this a holy place." At this point, we introduce ourselves by name and check in. Maybe a quick overview of our week, our state of mind, mood, just about 2 minutes to let people know how you're coming into the space for the day. Then the facilitator shares a thought-provoking topic or a concept, supportive text, quotes, or poems. There's an intentional 1-minute silence for a reflection on a topic, and then the facilitator does a reminder of the norms for Spirit Circle. When you wish to share, raise your hand and wait for the facilitator to recognize you. As a facilitator, I'll wait for 20 seconds, a time for reflection between each person's share, before recognizing the next person. When you share, please share your personal experiences, understanding, and perspectives while simultaneously welcoming and creating room for each other's perspectives. Avoid crosstalk, correction, or judgment. And because we have service at 11, we usually try to stop at 10:50 with a communal deep breath. And then we have a shared namaste, which is lovely because of my treasured yoga practice, that we have that peace that comes into our spirit circle. And then we extinguish the chalice. Craig is going to share a bit more about what Spirit Circle has meant to him over the last 5 years. I do want to share that for me, it has deepened my spiritual experience in service by opening my soul a little bit more before I enter this sanctuary, bringing me more to the moment and being able to connect my personal experience and spirituality from 1 hour to the next. I've grown personally and spiritually in my months at this church. Much of that growth has been due to the vulnerability, shelter, and safety I found in Spirit Circle at 10 a.m. on Sunday mornings. I hope you'll consider joining us if it sounds interesting to you.
I'm having to learn to make changes because I was going to use a portable mic, but I can figure this out. So anyway, Spirit Group, as Jess suggested, is kind of two segments. There's one that is more impersonal, or more personal rather, and not as reflective, and where we share what it was like for us this week. And something about ourselves usually. And to me, this was very important. I live 28 miles east of here, and so some of the normal ways of connecting and getting to know each of you didn't exist for me. And so I remember one day, and Jeremy's here actually, I was going, I really need to join a Spanish class. I need to learn Spanish. And Jeremy was having to talk about Duolingo. Well, if you ever go on sometimes into a coffee circle, sometimes you don't know people, you might, but because he brought that up, I sought him out in coffee and said, tell me about it. I've been doing Duolingo for 4 years now. And another time I'm an avid kayaker, and I was sharing places I'd gone. And in true to form, Ruth and John sought me out and said, where can we go? Better than that, I took them. And so we kayaked together. But these things would not have been possible without the opportunity to learn. And as we go around and we sit in a circle like this, so there's a chance, and you don't have to talk. Somebody might just say, not much, I pass. But the opportunity is there, and we usually do share it. Now the second part is a little more structured. It's more contemplative. It's more reflective. And as you heard Jess talk about the pauses that we have, it's for the purpose of integrating what is written for us, the facilitator brings, and also for the purpose of hearing and taking into our heart what the other has said. That pause is pretty important, by the way, because it doesn't get us into this, oh, I got something. It means you take it in and you feel it. So I've been the facilitator a couple of times, and each week brings us something. And so one week I just decided to do something on trusting. And I brought up a few quotes. I'll read them to you, the ones that I took. This one is from Brené Brown. Trust is choosing to make something important to you vulnerable to the actions of someone else. So we can take that into ourselves and contemplate it. The more control, the less you will be trusted. The more you control, the less you will be trusted. The more you hand over control, the more trust you will earn.
You may be deceived if you trust too much, but you will live in torment if you don't trust enough. So we take those in and we sit, and we take them into our heart, and then we go around. I had another one that I did, which I may not be able to find. I didn't find it. So anyway, last week, Cindy brought, oh, wait a second, I did find it. And what I picked was, because I'm a psychotherapist, I think in this line, being overwhelmed and stressed and my bad habits and actions and thoughts that maintain that unhealthy state. And the quotes I picked were, stress is an ignorant state. It believes everything is an emergency. You don't really know what's going to happen. Not really, not ever. Calm down. Breathe deeply. Stop useless speculation. And the last one, if you want to conquer the anxiety of life, live in the moment. Live in breath. Jerry would like that one. So last week, Cindy was leading, and it's interesting where we pick stuff up, because she was reading one of her favorite authors, Louise Penny, who happens to be my wife's all-time favorite author, so I was all ears. And she picked a segment from the book that she was reading, which is called Still Life, if you're interested. And in this book, the wise Inspector Gamache is speaking to a new detective. And he says to her, you need to learn you have choices. There are 4 things that lead to wisdom. Who doesn't want that, huh? And she noted, wondering when the police work would begin. And he said, there are 4 sentences we learn to say and to mean it. And he held up his hand, one at a time. He said, these are the 4 phrases that you need to be able to say. I don't know. I need help. I'm sorry. I was wrong. So we take that pause and we integrate this in, and we go, where does this fit in my own life? Because this is a time of personal reflection. And so I'm going to give you a little sample of what that might have been like, and I'll use me, because I actually spoke in this one. And I might, one quick thing. This is a pretty confidential place. You know the old line, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas? What happens in Spirit Group stays in Spirit Group. So, and that's pretty important. So, Madam Facilitator, I would normally be sitting with the speaker right now, but I won't be. So I'm thinking about all the things that Inspector Gamache had said to the trainee. And I'm going, I need help. Well, as many of you know, 5 weeks ago I had total hip replacement surgery. And one part of me is horrible about asking for help. But that really resonated with me. And it may not have been exactly as Inspector Gamache meant it, but that hit me because there were so many things I couldn't do. And my wife is a very loving, helping person, and she would love to give the care to me, and I was so reluctant to ask for it. I had a walker for 2 weeks. Try to hold a cup of tea or a glass of wine and get to where you're going with the walker. And there is a deep coffee stain on my carpet now because I failed in that regard. Sorry, honey. But, and by the way, Carla, if you're listening, hope you get well from your hip surgery. Don't be afraid to ask for help. But an amazing thing happened to me, and this truly was spiritual for me, is that as I gave up my hogging nature of being the one that gave help. And as my wife, I felt an affection growing in her towards me, just by letting me ask for help. That was potent and powerful. And so that was something that came to me, and I felt comfortable sharing it with the people around me. And one of the things that is amazing in a process like this, it's a little like group therapy in some ways, but what you say inspires somebody else. And so the next person is integrating. And I'll create a hypothetical here, but I wanted to make the point of this. The next person's hearing me talk about receiving help. And he thinks about his own difficulty receiving gifts from people. And so he shares that. And he goes, I've got to learn to stop saying, you shouldn't have. Or, how can I repay you? Or, that's too much. And he said, I need to work on just saying thank you. And I thought, and he apologized a little bit by saying, I know this isn't on topic, and we all kind of looked and go, yeah, but it was from your heart, and it was inspired. So we didn't get locked up on that, and it was a good story that he told. That is actually a gong we sometimes use, which means take the pause, don't jump in. You interrupted my contemplation.
We're not gonging people.
All right.
Get off.
So one of the other lines from Inspector Gamache was to be able to say, I'm sorry. And I took that in. Now this was me, because this is what I shared. Well, there's two parts to being sorry. If I step on your foot, it's pretty easy for me to say, I'm sorry. That's easy. But in the case of Inspector Gamache, she was talking about you're approaching somebody who's had a terrible loss. Maybe somebody was killed, maybe somebody was kidnapped, and we can't find the answer. And so to be able to say, I'm sorry, and I was struck with the fact that sometimes I'm reluctant to say that because I had spent time thinking about it and brought it into my heart. And I thought, I don't have to fix everything. But by simply saying to somebody, I'm sorry, that means I recognize their pain. That means for that brief moment in time, I'm willing to be with them. So part of being in Spirit Circle is for growth. And for me, there was a growth moment there that said, oh, I can look you in the eye and be present. And I can simply say, I'm sorry. And that is significant. It's not small. It's enough. And so those are the things that occurred with me, which were deeply spiritual, contemplative, and reflective. And so, my goodness, our time is almost up. Namaste.
Thank you, Jess. Thank you, Craig. Now is the time in our service for our offering. We give to remind ourselves of how many gifts we have to offer. We give to remember that we are part of something bigger than ourselves. We give because we believe in music and friendship. We give with the faith that together we have enough. We have two collections in our church. The money in the baskets goes to the day-to-day functioning of our church for salaries and upkeep and utilities, etc. The money in the tin cups is loose change for social change that goes to a group that regularly changes, that's outside the walls of the church. The loose change for social change for this month is being collected to support an interfaith effort at having a Pride Fest in June. Leading that effort is our sister sister congregation, the Methodist Church of Hobart. Pastor Leah is leading that, and we're gathering in support of that. So please be generous. It supports Pride Month celebration this coming June. Okay, 4 volunteers, and I've always do this. For those not with us here today, there is an online link for both one-time and regular donations. For your prayers, your presence, your service, and your gifts, we are truly grateful.
And now these rise in body and spirit for our closing hymn number 301, Touch the Earth, Reach the Skies. 301.
closing reading is Our Lives Intersect by Tanya Marquez. It is a wonder and mystery that our paths have crossed, that in the immensity of time and the vastness of space, we coincide here. I am in awe at the ways in which our lives intersect and intertwine, at the beauty we create when we gather. May our coming together make us more compassionate, more just, more caring, and more loving. May our hearts and minds be open to this offering. I'm so glad you are here. Let us worship, let us marvel at the miracle of being here, right now, and the mystery that has brought us together.